The sexual fantasy thing is really interesting because so when you meet somebody in a relationship, can you imagine on a first date, guy sitting across this girl that he's really attracted to and saying, "Hey, I really like pegging."
You might have to put a little
Probably
what is pegging?
People can look that up. NSFW. But look, we're not going to bring out those shadow issues, those kind of sexual fantasies and desires early in a relationship because you're afraid of being rejected. And those are shadow issues, so we tend to have shame around them. And so we are not going to talk about the things that bring us shame until there's trust. And it takes time to build trust. And then the problem becomes you're in a relationship. Next thing, you're living together and you haven't brought up this thing. And it's like, oh, how do I bring up this thing now? What if she rejects me now? And so you go deeper into the relationship commitment and it becomes harder and harder. Even though the trust might be built, you have more to lose. And so you're afraid to bring these things up. And then what happens is you carry them on. And then next thing you know, you're having an affair, you're hiring a mistress, you're going on the internet and looking at porn and you're hiding your browser history. And then something happens and it comes out and your partner's like, why didn't you tell me this? And there's a breakdown in trust. And so one of the questions in the frame up is, how are you feeling about sex and intimacy? And so every frame up, there's an opportunity to talk about something around sex and intimacy for each party. And sometimes it's just, yeah, I feel great. And other times it might be not so great. And other times you might be feeling brave and you might say, hey, I've actually been thinking about this thing that I've been thinking about for 15 years, but I didn't have the guts to tell you. And you might say that. And that's why it doesn't happen. And there needs to be an agreement. And that's the nice thing about the frame up is that if you do it over time, you've created space and an implicit and explicit agreement that you're going to be able to talk about those things. And so it opens up the doorway to have really intimate, vulnerable conversations about things that in regular life might never come out.